How's it going? Motor City Miner here, coming at you from my house, and we have the package I have been waiting for. The risk that apparently will be worth the reward. We have the IceRiver KS0 in this box, so let's get this open. Alright, so box seems pretty, it was a pretty well wrapped box. It has some really thick foam, so that's nice to see. And there it is, the KS0. This was likely the biggest risk that I ever took, paying with a whole bunch of crypto. But excited to see that it's here, excited to get this going for you guys. We're gonna do a full unpacking here, set up everything. Interesting, there's actually holes in between the fins, so that must be outtake. Interesting. So it is kind of tight in here. I'm gonna put the phone down for a brief second to get this out. All right, there it is. It is incredibly tight in there. There is no way I would have ever gotten this out with one hand. This thing is heavy, like incredibly heavy. This is all steel. You can tap it and feel it's all steel. So very well made. Heavy, very heavy. You can see here's the front here. We got our SD for the OS. We got a USB port, which we're gonna try out something on there. Obviously our IP and power. And then on the back we got our Ethernet, USB-C, and our DC input, which is for like pretty much a laptop power supply that the first batch came with. You can now buy that separately, but it was included in the cost for the original, which we'll get more on their website here in a little bit. There's been big updates on this for the next batch, both cost-wise and, you know, like I said, what's included, PSU versus not. So, like I said, you can see all these holes here, which are for these fans on the bottom. They look like Noctuas, in this brown and tan color. So hopefully they're pretty high quality. But yeah, it looks like it'll suck the air in, push it out, which does make me wonder if this fan, so this is a 120mm fan holes here, if we should continue sucking air up or pushing it down. I'm not really sure. So let me get this box out of the way, and then we'll kind of get into our setup here. All right, so got the KS0 here now. Just by itself, box out of the way. You can see our little laptop power brick here, which supposedly gets really hot. It looks like I got the same model as Greater Good Mining, so might be a little hot compared to some of y'all that have the other one I've seen is a little more rectangular. But so what I want to talk about and find out is this USB port, if it can provide power to a USB powered fan. So a few others have added the fans on top that are either powered separately from a wall outlet, or you know, just a fan that's blowing air over this and not actually attached to the unit. These little guys here, these 120mm fans from Amazon, and they are USB powered. So I'm hoping that instead of having extra, you know, cords, extra power draw or anything, I can just draw from this USB port here. So we're gonna find out if that actually works. I'll put a link down to, if it does work, I'll put a link down to this fan down below in the description. I tried to get one that had the best, you know, airflow for a USB fan. So a lot of these are pretty low, but this one's actually pretty high. About 66 CFM per minute, which I think should be pretty good. Again, it is interesting seeing these holes though. So the Noctuas are pointing so that air is coming into the unit and then out. So I do wonder if it's, I've seen most people putting this facing down and blowing air down onto the coolers, but I wonder if sucking air up is actually the way to go now that I see these exhaust holes from the unit. So that'll be interesting to see. I guess I'll give it a try. So I'm gonna mount, well actually maybe that's what I'll do. I'll set it up without the fan first, just get it up and running, and then see if adding the fan changes anything. So that's what we're gonna do. So be back in a moment. All right, so unfortunately we actually are running into some technical difficulties. So I plugged it in, PSU goes in the back here, and plugged it in with the one that came with it, and nothing. It didn't start at all. Completely seemed like it was DOA. But I was like, well, maybe it's just a bad power supply. Again, this is the one they sent, which is this light-on model 90-watt power supply. So I went around my house trying to find another one. On their website, you can see what the PSU requirement is. So if you don't have a PSU, you have to find one that has an output of 19 to 20 volts and direct current. That's what they sent. So as you can see here, it has a 19 volt output. Now, unfortunately, most of my PSUs lying around do not have 19 volt outputs. The iPolo G1 Mini is 12 volt, but I did have a laptop power supply that had 19 volt output. So I did go ahead and plug this in, and as you can see, it does indeed turn on. So apparently I got a bad PSU. Now the problem is I can't use this PSU. It only is rated for 65 watts and this consumes over that. So I need to unplug this before we have an issue. And I need to see where I can quickly get a 19 volt PSU for this guy. Because right now I cannot run it with this without creating a fire hazard. But good to know that it does actually operate. I guess I just got unlucky with a bad PSU direct from IceRiver, so I'm going to reach out to them on that. And we'll be back. I might have to make a run to the store to go get a PSU to get this thing up and running. So we'll be back once I find a solution to this. So I looked online. Looks like the Micro Center near me has some laptop power bricks that meet the voltage requirements and watt requirements for this unit. So I'm gonna have to head over there. So I'm gonna post this video, then I'm gonna head out there and hopefully be back later tonight with an update. But yeah, before I wasted time going there, just wanted to double check everything. So like I said, I got the Ethernet in here. This is the light-on power supply they send with it, and yeah, it's plugged in here. And it's just not doing anything. So again, looks like I just got a DOA power supply, but at least the unit did turn on when I tried a different power supply. Like I said, just that power supply is not meant for anything more than 65 watts. So once this thing would start up mining, I'm pretty sure it would have bursted into flames. So we'll be back maybe in a couple hours later this evening with an update. But yeah, I'm going to be heading over to Micro Center. So until later tonight.